Hello, 7th graders. Welcome back. Yesterday we learned about close reading, and today we are going to learn how to create a theme statement, which is something we have done before. And it's really important that you take your notes from yesterday and learn how to apply them to making a theme statement. So here we go. First, you're going to write down your objective. You have 3 objectives, so leave some room. You will be able to define theme. You will be able to differentiate between theme statement and theme topic. They are 2 different things. And you will be able to create a theme statement on your own. The definition of the word theme is a moral or lesson of a story, or what the author is trying to teach the reader. So, while this definition seems simple, some of us still have trouble grasping it. And so when you're creating a theme, you want to think about what the author is trying to show, teach, or explain to you. What does the author want you to walk away from after reading the text or the story? Now, there's a big difference between topics and statements. Yesterday, we asked for you to list some major topics in the book Long Walk to Water. For example, survival, war, violence, childhood, things like that. Those are all one words, and those are just topics and ideas. A statement can be drawn from those topics. And a statement, rather than being a word or idea, is actually a complete sentence or a claim. It is something that you are stating as a complete thought. So instead of just one word, make sure that your theme statement is always in a sentence. For example, a topic would be friendship, but a statement would be that friends are sometimes more important than family. So, what do we know about theme statements? When we ask you to create a theme, we're asking you to create a theme statement. Now, theme statements are universal. They don't just apply to the book. Notice when I said friends are more important than family, I didn't mention any characters or any plot points. I gave you a sentence that can be applied to the outside life that you have outside of the book. You can take a theme statement and you can apply it anywhere. This is how you make text-to-world or text-to-self connections. Theme statements are not directly related to the characters or the plot of the novel. There are 4 different steps that you can take when you create a theme. The first step is to come up with some topics to get your brains moving. This is like a brainstorm. The next step is going to think about one important moment in the novel. Now this has to be a key event, so whether it's the rising action or the climax or the falling action or the moment that we see conflict, this is a key event in the novel. Then you need to think about how the character or plot has changed when they approached after they have experienced that event. So you have the event, you think about how the character was before, the event occurs, and you think about how the character is now. And from all of these things, you're going to create a statement, and you can always create your statement by finishing this sentence. The author wants me to learn that. What does the author want you to learn? Think about how the character changed and what the author wants you to learn from that. So, we're going to start with the example of Little Red Riding Hood. Mostly everybody should be familiar with the story Little Red Riding Hood. First, you start with some topics to get your brain thinking and to come up with a statement. Some of the topics in the story are strangers, trust, family, and courage. So we can make a statement or a sentence using one of these ideas, and I highlighted the ones that we're going to use today. Here are steps 2 and 3. I now need to think of an event that changes Little Red. So my event is that Little Red was listening to the wolf and she took a longer way to grandmother's. She should not have done that. She should have just gone the way that she normally does. But she encounters the wolf in the woods, and the wolf is like, hey, I know a shortcut. And Little Red's like, cool, that's awesome. And then she takes the shortcut, and unfortunately, some bad circumstances occur. So afterwards, how does Little Red feel? Well, Grandma gets eaten by the big bad wolf, and Little Red feels that it's her fault. She feels pretty guilty. Yes, there are other things that occur outside of the book, but I'm looking for how did Little Red change? What happened to her? She felt guilty. So that's step 2, and then this is step 3. Now I look at step 4. I've written an example theme statement here. Notice I have the beginning sentence stem that says, therefore the author wants me to learn. I can finish this sentence to create my theme statement. My theme statement would read, Little Red should not have trusted the big bad wolf, and she should have gone the way she normally goes. Now, I'm going to analyze this. How do I know that this is a good theme? So I'm going to look back at some of the steps and the things that I know about theme. The first thing is, does it teach me something related to one of the topics? Well, yes, it does. It has to do with trust, and our topics were strangers and trust and honesty, so it does refer back to the topic, so at least I did that. My next question is it universal? Meaning, can I take it out of the context of Little Red Riding Hood and the Big Bad Wolf, and could I apply this exact sentence to maybe another story? Could I have said, well, the author of The Lightning Thief wanted to teach me that Little Red Riding Hood should not have trusted the Big Bad Wolf? No, I can't say that, because I mentioned characters. So when you are creating a universal statement, you want to make sure that you are containing no character or plot. It must be very generalized. Lastly, is it a statement? Well, yes, that's one thing that is done correctly. It is a statement. It's a complete thought. It talks about how she should not have trusted because she should have gone the way she normally goes. So this isn't a very good example. Now make sure you're writing this down in your packet. You need to select yes or no, and then you need to explain how you know. How do I know it's universal? Because it contains character names and points of plot. How do I know it's a statement? Because it's a complete thought and it's not just one word. So let me try again to see if I can get the perfect theme. Another theme statement that I can create using my sentence starter is, therefore the author wants us to learn that you should be careful of those that you trust. Now, does that sound like a moral or lesson? Yes. Does it teach something related to the topics? Yeah, it has to do with trust, and that was one of our topics. Is it universal? Yeah, it's not specific to the book. I could in fact take this and apply it to other novels. I could say, in The Lightning Thief, you should be careful of who you trust. Because Percy Jackson does run into a lot of issues in the series. And is it a statement? Yes, it's a complete thought and a complete sentence. So now we're going to move on at looking at creating theme in the book Long Walk to Water. I'm going to go through the same 4 steps. First, I'm going to come up with topics. Again, this is just kind of to get my juices flowing and to come up with ideas so that I can focus on one central topic when creating my theme. So, my topics in the story are survival, hope, family, and courage. Using these, I can make a statement or a sentence to teach me or to teach others what the author wants me to learn. So, steps 2 and 3 I'm putting together again. First, I list the event that changes Salva. The event is that his uncle died. Now, that's a pretty big event in the novel because, unfortunately, he felt like he was left alone. He felt like he was going to be left behind, but that's not really what ended happening. Salva changed quite a bit. Before his uncle died, he was a very young, frightened boy, but now he's older and he is stronger and he is motivated, and he becomes somewhat of a leader as the years go on, and he takes other boys throughout the journey to the refugee camp. Now, I look at a theme statement that I can create. Remember, if I'm having trouble, I use my sentence starter. The author wants me to learn that, that's my sentence starter, sometimes difficult things happen in order to help us become stronger. Now, it's very possible that if Uncle was still there, Selva may not have survived the entire journey. He may have stayed frightened and weakened, and maybe he wouldn't have been as strong. So sometimes these trying and difficult and hard things happen so that we can learn from them and become stronger. Does that sound like a lesson? It does. It sounds like something that somebody's trying to teach you. So how do I know this is a good theme? Does it teach me something related to the topics? Yeah. My topic was survival, my topic was family, my topic was hope and courage, and this has to do with a lot of those things. Is it universal? Yes, it is. And make sure you write that in your packet. It is universal because it's not specific to the book. I don't list any characters or plot. I'm simply stating something that the author would want me to walk away with after finishing this book. Lastly, is it a statement? It is. It's a complete thought. It's not just one word or an idea, but instead I've created it into a statement or a sentence. All right, well that's all. Make sure that you have all your blanks filled in and that you are thinking critically about how to create a theme for your exit ticket coming up later this week.